The Keys are expected to feel the brunt of Eta's wrath.
Local 10's Christian De La Rosa is live in Key West with that part of our team coverage.
Yeah, Monroe County is under a local state of emergency. You wouldn't know that based on the nonchalant, somewhat party atmosphere here in Key West, but most people know what's coming our way. Local officials are expecting 15 inches of rain along with tropical storm winds or even stronger. As Eta aims for the Florida Keys, heavy rain is already filling the streets of Key West.
It's going to be nasty. I'm trying to get everything buttoned down for it.
Locals like Rick Igo, owner of Liquid 8 Pond, is heeding the warning.
When we had Irma come through, we got a good 8 inches of water inside the lower level.
We're expecting a strong tropical storm, potentially a Cat 1 hurricane.
Monroe County Mayor Heather Carruthers says serious flooding is her biggest worry.
Depending on where you are, possibly 2 to 3 feet above high tide.
County officials are encouraging people living in mobile and live-aboard vessels to evacuate by 5 p.m. Sunday. Key West High School is opening its doors to offer shelter. Neighbors parking their cars on the school's higher grounds ahead of the deluge. Tourists out and about Saturday night are being asked to stay in their hotels during the storm.
Do take it seriously. Make sure you're prepared. Have everything you need to be safe for probably 2 days.
So the rain has been on and off. It is, however, getting very windy. Visitors and tourists, they do not have to leave the Florida Keys. They are, however, being asked to take precautions. Visitor RVs, trailers, campers, those have to be removed from Monroe County by Sunday morning around 9 a.m. When it comes to shelters, people that are showing up to those shelters, they will be administered rapid COVID-19 tests. Local officials do tell us they believe they have enough space to keep everyone socially distant. State parks are shut down, closed until further notice, and classes are canceled from Monday. We're in Key West ahead of the storm. I'm Christian De La Rosa, Local 10 News.
All right, we're going to hope for the best. Now to President-elect Joe Biden. His victory announced this morning, and he addressed the nation just a short time ago.
His win was met with joyous celebrations in several cities, including Miami, where a large crowd gathered at the Freedom Tower.
And let's take a look at the map with Pennsylvania and Nevada declared today for Biden. That gives him 279 electoral votes, or the necessary 270. President Trump has 214. 4 states, though, still have yet to be called, too close to call. After days of waiting, though, America has an answer.
But the Trump campaign says it's not over just yet.
The next chapter in U.S. history off with a bang. The crowd at the Biden election headquarters going wild as Joe Biden and Kamala Harris took the stage.
It is now my great honor to introduce the President-elect of the United States of America, Joe Biden.
Addressing Americans for the first time as winners after a contentious battle for the White House with nail-biting numbers in a 5-day counting process. Biden calling for unity in this divided nation that has been facing civil unrest and a relentless pandemic for much of 2020.
I pledge to be a president who seeks not to divide, but unify. Who doesn't see red states and blue states, only sees the United States. The Bible tells us to everything there is a season, a time to build, a time to reap and a time to sow, and a time to heal. This is the time to heal in America.
Harris making history as the first female vice president-elect, also a woman of color and daughter of Jamaican and Indian immigrants.
While I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last.
Their acceptance speech came after a day of celebrations coast to coast. President Trump was golfing as the news came in this morning. On Twitter, falsely saying he actually won the election, pushing the baseless claim that observers were not allowed to watch ballot counters. Trump's legal team vowing to challenge the election results.
And the win for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is historic on several fronts. Harris won't only be the first woman as vice president, she'll also be the first black woman and the first South Asian woman to hold the office. Her husband, attorney Doug Emhoff, will be the country's first second gentleman. And Biden will be sworn in at 78 years old, making him the oldest person ever sworn in as president.
And South Florida joined the nationwide celebration rather, for the winning team. A large crowd gathering in downtown Miami, and that's where local 10's Leanne Morejon is live tonight. Leanne.
And Laren, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the safest celebration takes place at home. Nevertheless, we know that the people that came out today say they just couldn't help themselves. They brought their masks with them or they stayed in their cars as they reveled in what they call good news.
In the middle of a hurricane watch and a global pandemic, a celebration emerged. All this in downtown Miami at the historic Freedom Tower, where people both on foot and in their cars cheered and waved flags, even banged their pots and pans. Now that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are projected to be the next president and vice president of the United States.
This is the ultimate expression of freedom. I mean, what joy.
Right here, this is our president.
This has shown me that democracy works, and I could not be happier for today.
Yvette Aviles and others we spoke to said they couldn't let this moment go by without celebrating.
Trump, and I have not said his name in 4 years, has divided this country so deeply that the only one that I can see who can fix it is Joe Biden.
Voting out Trump was super important. I'm very looking forward to what happens after this moment.
This country gave full entry to my grandparents when we lost everything in Cuba, and I couldn't see our exile and our experience diminish by a power grab. So I went all in for Biden.
Today is a victory day.
And the celebrations are far from over. We know that next week on Saturday, they're planning a caravan. Reporting live in downtown Miami, Leanne Morejon, Local 10 News.
And Leanne, the celebrations do continue, as you mentioned. This is a live look in Atlanta where people have taken to the streets. The parties will surely go on for the remainder of the evening.
And of course, we're continuing to track Eta tonight. That storm putting South Florida under a hurricane watch. Luke, of course, will be back with another update in just a few minutes. It headlines across Florida, a search for a fugitive turning deadly outside a McDonald's restaurant. Just opened fire on responding deputies from a car in the McDonald's parking lot. Deputies fired back, killing that fugitive at the scene. An investigation into the shooting is now underway.
Well, now to the coronavirus pandemic. The state is reporting another day of more than 4,000 cases rather. Let's look at today's numbers. Again, 4,400 new cases reported statewide. Of those, 808 are in Miami-Dade County, 421 are in Broward, and 17 in Monroe.
Well, this season has certainly brought a lot of storms, and now we're preparing for ours. This one's going to be moving in by tomorrow and tomorrow night, so we're going to break down everything you need to know. Your forecast coming up next. All right, South Florida, we have till really tomorrow morning to kind of buckle down and get ready for Eta as it makes its approach toward us. You know, this isn't a tremendously explosive storm by our standards, but it is somewhat threatening, and we're just going to go ahead and prepare as though this may be a Category 1. It's possible that we see some low-end hurricane force winds out of this by Sunday night or Monday morning. All right, so there's the latest advisory and the cone tracking our way by Sunday night and Monday. Let's take a look at kind of the nuts and bolts of everything. When do the winds start? Well, in some of the bands that come through, we could see tropical storm force winds beginning Sunday afternoon and then just raw weather for an extended period of time. So Sunday night, Monday, even into Monday night before it finally starts to draw away from us. What kind of impacts are we talking about here? Well, we should all get ready for power outages.